For this lesson, we're going to be writing functions from word problems and from tables. So let's take a look at the directions. First, we need to define our variables for our word problems for each relation, and then we are going to write a function rule, which is going to be like an equation. All right, so for number 1, it says income from recycling aluminum cans for 5 cents per can. So we know that we're talking about income, and we do know that we are talking about aluminum cans here. So when we're looking at this, for our X, it's going to be the actual number of cans, and Y is going to be our income. So when we're writing the function rule, what we need to also include is that 5 cents per can, so we can figure how much money we will have made. So we're going to start off with Y is equal to, and remember, every can is 5 cents. So I'm going to write it as 0.05. That's what 5 cents would look like, kind of in talking about our dollars. And it's going to be X. So if I just recycle 1 can, I get a nickel. If I recycle 10 cans, I get 50 cents. So here's our defining our variable, and here is our function rule. All right, let's look at the next one. Change from a $5 bill when buying stamps for 60 cents each. Okay, so what are we interested in? We want to know, what is the change? And from a $5 bill is going to be important. And what are we doing? We're buying stamps, and the stamps are 60 cents each. All right, well, let's think about what they're talking about. First of all, we're going to be buying some stamps. So that has to be our independent variable. It's going to be the number of stamps that we buy. The Y is going to be, actually, notice they wanted to know how much change that you had left, change left. So when we're putting information in for our function rule, we're going to need to also incorporate in the fact that we had $5 and that each stamp is 60 cents. So again, when we have our Y, that's how much money we have left. So Y is equal to, remember, we start with $5. So 5 represents $5. You don't put the dollar sign. You don't put the 2 little zeros for no cents. We're subtracting every time we buy a stamp. We're going to subtract 60 cents. And there's our X. So if I only buy 1 stamp, it's $5 minus 60 cents. If I buy 2 stamps, it's $5 minus $1.20. So that would be our function rule. All right, well, let's take a look at writing a function rule from a table. When we're looking at the tables, we are going to be having an X column and a Y column. And we're going to want to see how are the changes in X and the changes in Y. And I'm going to also want to see, do I start off with a 0, 0? If I start off with a 0, 0, I'm going to have a function rule that is going to look something like this. If I go ahead and I don't have a 0, 0, like something I have here, then my function rule is going to be more like the second one. So let's see what we have. So we have a -2, a 0, a 1, and a 2. Well, remember, if I put Y over X for the first one, a -10 over a -2, that simplifies to a 5. If I go down here and I put again, Y over X, the 5 over 1, notice I get a 5. Same thing if I did 10 over 2, we know it's 5. So our function rule for this one is going to be y is equal to our rate of change that we found, 5x. This is our rule for that table. So for the next table, notice it doesn't have a 0, 0. It has a y is a 0 and x is a 3. So when I'm writing my function rule, I'm going to have something like this. Y is equal to, I don't know, something. And since that's a 3, it's going to be plus 3 there. So now we're going to need to find our rate of change. And when we find our rate of change for this one, because it starts off a little bit different than that 0, 0, we're going to see how is this increasing. So we see our x's from 5 to 7 increase by 2, from 7 to 9 increase by 2. So notice here we go from a -2 to a -4. So this is going down by 2. From a -4 to a -6 is going down by 2. So when we put our y over our x, we have a -2 over 2, and that is going to be equal to a -1. So when we're writing our function rule, we're going to put a -1x plus 3. So this is our rule. But I will tell you, you do not necessarily have to write that 1 there. You can write it as y is equal to a -x plus 3. It means the exact same thing. Either one of those would be correct. All right, well, let's look at our last one. I see that I have a -2 for x, a 0, 4, 6. For y, it's a -1, 0, 2, 3. Look here. I see a 0, 0, so I know that it's going to be more like problem number 3. But now I've got to find my y over x value. What is the rate? And that's called a rate of change. So for this one, y over x is equal to a -1 over a -2. And we know that that is a positive 1/2. Let's go down to this one. Our y over x is equal to 2 over a 4. Well, notice that's 1/2. And if I wrote the 3 over 6, it would still be 1/2. So our rate of change is 1/2. So as I'm writing this now as an equation, y is going to be equal to 1/2 x. We do not have anything that's going to be tagging along here because it went through the origin of 0, 0. This is the function rule for the last problem that we have there. If this video was helpful to you today, please add a like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more Math with Marcia. See you again soon.